1.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, did I mess up something? I hope this thing is good.
And we are live as Dayle is continuing to fix his perfect camera angle.
Nope.
In
I got
the-
something. I got something for it.
You keep going it. Well, welcome to One of Everything, the show where we talk about our obsession with Pearl Jam merchandise and everything in between. My name is Anthony Krizwich from the Touring Fan Live, and I am excited for 2 months in a row. I have wheeled and dealed it, and I've had my buddy all the way from the Northeast, where it's cold as shit, Dayle.
Yep.
Dayle, welcome again.
No, thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate this. I didn't think I would be back on the show, but apparently, I'm only kidding. No, I really appreciate it, and I like to shoot the shit with him about stuff. And one of the things I didn't know we had in common was we went to these shows, Alpine Valley, together. Oh, not together, but we were there.
Isn't it weird when you meet people and you find out like how many shows you all went to at the same time? I mean, there's people like you and me have talked about this. There's a lot of shows we went to, but we weren't there together. But it's just interesting how we have like memories and we kind of recognize those memories together. And that's what I think is cool about like being in this community and Pearl Jam in general.
Right. Yeah. No. It's one of the coolest things. That, like when you meet somebody new, new, and they're like, where have you been?" And then, "Hi, bye." Okay, yeah. My wife says, "You do what you do." So it's one of the coolest things. And I'm like, I was there, and then but you didn't know anybody. And it wasn't until I probably not till 2016 where I was like going out and about, but like back in 2011, right? Like I was just like go to the show, get out and whatever, and if I met people, it's great. But it's one of those trips, Alpine Valley. If you were there, one of the most amazing trips, I think. And yeah.
100%. I mean, if you think there were so many memories to be made, we're celebrating the 20 years of the band we love coming
Right.
together and being united around all this music and celebration. They had the museum, they had the artist alley, they had all these different things going on. And I mean, it really did, to me, Pearl Jam 20 jump started what would be the heavy collection. I mean, you remember Vault 1 started in Pearl
Yep.
Jam 20 with the CD. You had
Right.
multiple posters for a show, which was kind of an oddity at that time.
Right.
There was so much going on, and it's crazy that was 11 years ago.
Yeah, it seems so far away, right?
Yeah.
It seems so like so a long time ago that we were hoping for Pearl Jam 30, but that was another hope, and it still could happen right now, or it's past.
I think we're
I
so
think it's past.
yeah, I think
it's
we're so
past.
far removed because I mean, in theory, I think maybe Pearl Jam 35 makes sense. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but do they really need to celebrate anything anymore? I mean, the band's held longevity for so long now. I mean, they've been together for a long period of time. Matt Cameron's been with them for such a long period of time.
Yep.
They're selling out shows. I mean, what else do they have to prove? I mean, I would say to me, Pearl Jam 20 was pretty awesome. I think the next big one, honestly, is like a Pearl Jam 50.
Hopefully they make it there. And I'm sorry. Oh God, my
No, don't.
setup is just not okay. Don't worry about this. It's just basically in my basement, and it's just like basically like it wasn't into it. I was just more into the experience at the hotel, and then but like I said, the weather. If the weather was kind of cool, was warm and stuff, I would have done more. But I didn't really care to really do anything, and I bought the VIP package that included food and beer and everything, and I
didn't
didn't even
realize it
take
included
care.
all that.
Yeah, yeah. So you went up to the top of the hill, and then that's where the rolling museum was, right? The museum.
Yep,
Well,
the one that.
they had,
Yep.
yeah. So I went to see that, but you guys, dummy me, I never took a single picture from that place. I just walked through.
I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't do the walkthrough at all. Um, the only things that I did was I did do merch. So I got heavily into merch in 2006 with the
Yep.
posters. So when I got there early to the merch line, I got one of everything, and this is where not one of everything. I'm saying, yeah, no, I did get one of everything there, and this is where it got interesting. I look up and I see this sweatshirt up on the wall, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, those dates don't line up, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, it says it's 5th and 6th, and we're in Michigan. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing drugs, and I know for a fucking fact this doesn't make sense. So I bought it, and I bought the posters. I rolled them up, and then the thing that killed it too was it showed Chris Cornell was going to be there because it said CC on the poster. So everyone
Yeah.
basically, and the rumors that leading up to were saying Chris Cornell was going to be there. You know, Neil Young all these people were going to be there. So it was all these rumors the entire time. I could have given two shits, but got the posters, rolled them up, brought them back to the car, had the hoodie, and then as I'm walking back, some guy's like, "Hey, you got one of those hoodies?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll give you fucking $600 for it right now." I'm like, "Yeah, take it." Like, $600. So then I turn around and go back to the merch booth, and then the guy had another one back there. It was an extra large. I still have it upstairs, and then I got a regular one as well. And I had them both, and then I had everything. They had like the merch they had there too at that time was they had a Pearl Jam 20. They had two Pearl Jam 20 hats. One of them, which I can't find, which was like that logo from The Weeknd, which was like the two half circles cut and two lines, where it was like red and yellow that kind of made the
Yep.
Pearl
Yep.
Jam logo. And then
Yep.
they had
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and then they had
I
the
have
Green
that
Bay
hat.
Packers one. Do you really?
I have that hat. Let me want to find it. Well,
Oh
you can
yeah.
talk to me while I find
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can keep talking.
Yeah.
And I can find it. No. It's the one that it's like basically it was like a the P, and then it just looked
Yep.
like it just. Yeah, I have that one. But you don't need to see it, but or
Oh,
whatever.
that is my next tattoo. But yeah, so then they had that one, and they had the Green Bay Packers snapback hat, which was
Yep.
that was one of the worst made Pearl Jam hats because the logo on that graphic consistently broke up. Even when I mean, like weeks later, it was just like falling apart. It was dog shit. They had the Pearl Jam. They had a couple Pearl Jam 20 T-shirts. They had the Green Bay Packers T-shirt that had like the same thing as the logo as the hat. They had the Pearl Jam 20 shirt. They had the Moose, not the Moose, the Deerhead Pearl Jam 20 shirt, and
Yeah.
I think that was really it. They didn't have a ton. They didn't have stickers, and they didn't really have any stickers or pins. I don't recall. But the posters were the big thing for me because there was 3 posters sold at that show. There was the Justin.
Yep. The
the,
Hampton, the dinner table. That's what I
That's
call
dinner
it.
table.
Or
Let me see.
Thanksgiving. I don't.
Let me get some of those pictures up as we're talking. So,
Yeah,
why
the
don't you
Thanksgiving
talk about
one.
talk about your favorite of the 3 posters? Which one did you like the most?
Oh, it's no. The reason why. So when I came back from Alpine Valley, I was able to log on while I was in the 10 club and stuff like that. That's how you get the tickets. But I was like surprised that I got the Clausen one, right, and the Ames brothers off of them. So I had them in a tube for the longest time, forever, and then I didn't know this thing about the Monk one. And then once I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then it's the billboard. That's like holy
Yep.
shit. And then that's one of the most sought after posters. So it's my favorite one. Not because I was there. It's my favorite one because a lot of my friends in the Pearl Jam community cared enough for me that they banded together, collected money, and then bought it off someone to give it to me at Pearl Jam 2018 in Fenway. So they were at my house when I had my barbecue, and then I was actually surprised that they came down here in this basement, and they presented me with that Pearl Jam 20
That's awesome.
billboard. So that's if for anything, I'm going to steal. If for anything, that poster is my favorite because of what happened in the background, and and the love from the Pearl Jam community that I had the funds to buy it. It just was hard to get, because the guys that have it want to, like, okay, well, if I'll give you 2,000 for it, which I think is a going rate, and they're like,
Yep.
well, you can get some more, and then, so I'm like, just be honest, like we're buying stuff off of people. I'm like, just tell me a price. If I don't agree with the price, I'm not gonna buy it.
Sure.
And don't fucking dick me around with it, like, that's all.
I will say, Dayle, for you in general, I think one term comes wholeheartedly when I think of you. It's the love given is the love received, because I believe, you do a lot for a lot of people. You've done a lot for me. And I think that's why a lot of people want to do something for you. And dude, you're that guy at fucking Christmas that has everything you can't buy for. So it's like, I think that the fact that they were able to give you something that you really wanted and be wholehearted about it. It's just like I said, it's the love that you give is the love you receive, and you give a lot of love out. And I think that's why you were able to receive something like that. So it's awesome that you have that. That's awesome.
Hence, my favorite Pearl Jam live song is "Given to Fly."
There you go. Now, all right, let's get right into the posters right now. First, let's talk about this Justin Hampton poster. So here's the Hampton poster. So there was 2 versions of this at the show, and I have both of them. So this is the one. If you look closely, you can kind of see this green outline on the outer edge around where the white area is. It's a glow in the dark variant, and it was like has some of the different characters and some symbols around there, so it glows in the dark. So Justin Hampton made this, and it's supposed to be Neil Young and Neil Young's ex-wife at the time. I think her name is Patty Young. Celebrating the 20th anniversary of Pearl Jam with them being kids. Yeah. So that is that.
I did. Because it's okay. So now you're telling me the backstory, because it's this poster I've seen so many times, and I'm like, well, I had the other ones already. I really don't care to get this one, to be honest, because I'm like, I'm never gonna frame it or anything like that. It's not something that I'm really care about, because it was just like,
yeah. So Justin Hampton was on the show about 2 years ago and talked in detail about this poster and how Neil Young has a huge impact on Pearl Jam, because Neil Young stands up, he's an activist, and Pearl Jam's an activist, and Pearl Jam says they get their activism from Neil Young, and they all look up to him, and they get a lot of their musical enlightenment and encouragement from him. So that's why they did this. And so this is based off a Norman Rockwell painting from back in, I don't know, 50s or 60s. I have no idea.
That's like the Hartford one, which could, because this totally this kind of stuff could totally be in a doctor's office and you would never even know about it. Like,
exactly.
You walk by and be like, yeah.
The only thing about this print that really I never loved is I really wish that the Pearl Jam 20th anniversary would have I wish it would just said Pearl Jam 20, and it didn't have there's too much behind Neil Young's character that it almost kills the print.
Right. So if you don't even put all that stuff in it, like just put Pearl Jam and put take all the font and shit out of the way, I think you would have a great poster.
I agree with you.
It did. Yep.
Because the colors, the colors on it really do pop. And I think if you look at the characters and knowing it's them as kids and kind of that fun stuff on things, and it's the whole birthday celebration. He could have just wrote Pearl Jam 20 on the cake. With that, I think it makes it pop a little bit. But yeah, I think that it's just too busy. And I think this is why if you were to do a tally right now of people of favorite posters based off of things, I think this would probably be their least favorite of the 3.
Oh yeah, of course. I like I said, I went to the show, and this is not the one I look for. I don't even care about it. And so, yeah.
Let's go to the.
Okay.
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear everything.
Oh, no. No, I know, because everybody thinks I have every poster, and I saw that poster. I'm like, no, I'm not buying it. Just like, when we were in LA 1, you're like, fucking ain't, I'm not buying this fucking piece of shit. Yet I still have one.
Yeah, we all do. Kind of like your Denver story, right?
Yes, I bought one too. Yeah.
I know you did. I know. All right, so let's go right into the next one. So this is actually, I think this is a very underrated poster. This is the Pearl Jam 20 Ames poster, and to me, this is a really cool celebration piece. So what Ames did, and Dayle has it just displayed behind him, is This is a celebration of all the characters Ames had created all the way up to Pearl Jam 20. So all of these characters are from multitude of different posters from the 20 years that Ames has been making prints or posters for Pearl Jam. And I thought it was really cool. They even had a little throw into Dennis Rodman, who ended up showing up in the show, which I'll talk about that here shortly. But no, this is. I think this pops really well. I don't like the variant as much as I like the regular show version or the regular one because those colors pop a little bit more. The variant had the dull down colors a little bit, and that wasn't. It just didn't do anything for me. What did you think about this one, Dayle?
Oh no! This was the one I bought off the website, right, from Pearl Jam's website, and and I didn't never really cared about it. It just was in a tube. I was one of those guys too when I first started buying these things. Like I didn't, I was living with my parents, and I didn't really need to take them out of the tube, so we just kept it in a tube, just kept it in a closet, and then it wasn't until I bought a house I was like, oh, let me open these things up, and you never know what you had. Because I was just kept buying stuff. And my advice to everybody is, if you think you don't like anything or you think you like it, buy it from the 10 Club, because you'll never feel bad because it's just now you're trying to buy it off eBay and stuff like that. But I bought this originally from them, and then you use it as a trade thing where I was at the show, and then I found out wow, you can find these again. And then I was in Milwaukee, come back to Wisconsin again in 2013. And I wasn't even 2013. I wasn't a merch guy. I wasn't. And then I traded this to get a Milwaukee poster, the Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And so, I love that poster. Love that poster. Love that, like you said, about all the characters in, all the, the hockey guy. It's just it's really cool. It was really cool. I was
super, super clever, and it the way that they did this and they structured it, and it like the parade, like they're celebrating Pearl Jam in this celebratory parade works. The colors on it, the way it's popped, and I also like the fact that Ames has a unique way of having their screen prints pulled. There was a podcast about it a couple of years ago, but this is a great example of how nice the colors stand out, especially when there's so much bright, vivid colors. So this has a lot of blue on it from the floating American Child. And there's a lot of solid colors being pulled on it. And a lot of times if you get a poster that has huge areas of solid color and you try rolling it, after a while those you can get a lot of creases or what they call rub marks on them, where if you have this poster, go look at it, I guarantee you, as long as you've taken care of it, there is no pull marks on it in skull. So it's a really cool print, and I really like this one. This is one of my I really do like this one. And now here's a funny story though about this though. So during Artist Alley, they had this Artist Alley inside of it, and they had Ames Brothers set up, they had Brian Meth set up, they had Justin Hampton, they had Emick, they had Jermaine Rogers. Well, people were buying posters and trying to have everyone sign them. So Jermaine Rogers sign it or anyone. And Ames Brothers, the only way they would sign the poster is on the back side of it. So if you go on eBay and you see one of these posters and it's not signed on the front but signed on the back, because Ames Brothers refused to sign the front of the poster, they only sign on the back of it.
Oh, okay. So they have some morals.
I guess they have some morals. Yeah, the morals of that we're not signing the front because that's the ones we're going to sell on our website for more money.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought there was so they still try to fuck us. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because because you get some of these guys when you go to these the TPRS or whatever, you can get your stuff signed by the artist. And it's out in San Francisco. I'm sorry. I don't want to haul my crap out there and then just try to beg and plead, please sign it. I really don't care because what I've learned from how they get their posters is basically all the same posters. They basically just get to sign. Pearl Jam sends it to them, or Mrs. T-shirt sends it to them. They get to just sign it basically, and that's what they make for the what they make. And but I guess everybody knows about this whole process. But seeing that, I'm so APs aren't special to me. I'm sorry, they're not. They're not. Ken Taylor doesn't even sign his.
No. Well, the thing too is Dayle. I'm looking at. I in my studio. I'm looking. I don't know. I have a bunch of posters leaned up because I have nothing hanging up right now until I get this room finished. And then like I'm looking at stuff, and it's like I don't even know if they're signed and numbered, but it's not. I don't look at those for that because I'm buying these posters because I'm getting it for the memory of that show, and it brings me back to those moments, and it brings me back to things that I forget about, and it's a good like bookmark to that moment of like going back to it. And Pearl Jam 20 had 3 posters that like. They're bookmarks because the first day they sold 2 posters and the next day they sold 1 because they had the next one for the next day, which is another one that's right over your shoulder there in the background. And we're gonna bring that. Let's bring that one up on the screen. This is my favorite. This is my favorite print from the weekend. I love this print.
Oh, love this. Love.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. The way that the reason I love this print so much is. The colors look fantastic, and I like that there's a lot of reds in it and stuff, which Clausen's known for. And once again, it's the same thing like Ames, like they work together, and they're showcasing all the characters.
Yeah, and then he's
and I also like the fact that it's vertical.
Yes, and it is not a. Yeah, it was when I got this. Well, when I unopened it. I was like, my son at the time was 10 years old, and we opened this up and like, dude, this could totally go in your room. For a 10-year-old, you don't have to see the Pearl Jam, but all the characters in it. This is totally for you. But this one is really cool, and I have the variant version, which is that's the variant, the one behind me. I think it's probably besides probably the Grim Reaper. I think this is probably like up there with the Grim Reaper. Like, to be honest, I for Brad Clausen's work, I don't know, but I think I love this. Like, it's up there with the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper, of course, I love, but I'm looking at that right now. And lately, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't liked anything that Clausen's done. It all looks the same, and then kind of like gets tiring, if that makes any sense. Like, even though entire tour he had for this tour, I think he had like 3 or 4 posters.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
and every time, and I was storing them away. Right, I'm like, what the fuck? I have the same fucking thing, and no, it's a different show. It just looks the same.
Well, so the way that Clausen works is, and Clausen is kind of like Dan Mumford in one sense. Like, there's a style to him, and you're gonna get that.
Yep.
And they don't defer from that, and it makes sense because you're either gonna love what they're doing or you're gonna hate it, and I get it. I get both ways, regardless. But the one thing with Clausen was like this year he had 3 prints that were 3 prints together that make one story. So his 3 the Ladies of the Earth type deal, all 3 of those story are like together, they make one big story. And then he had his Nashville print, which was like the Rats playing, and I think he had one more, but I could be wrong. But I agree with you. My I have 3 favorite Clausen prints that I own, but the Reaper is always going to be number 1 for me. That is a special print. That's really what the print that got me heavy into collecting. And then this Pearl Jam 21, because it's character driven. It's this parade of characters coming across with heavy reds and heavy blacks, dealing with a lot of contrast, coming off a print that can be framed in a different way than all of your other prints in that horizontal and not vertical, horizontal line that's longer than it is taller. And it was saying, but I will say this though, and I don't know if you had this problem, Dayle. This was a bitch to frame because it was it was an odd shape, and it was like you had to get a special fucking framed cutout for this and special cut for mats and stuff. And this was an expensive print to frame.
Frame job.
Oh god.
Yeah. No, I have 2 of them framed. So this is the variant. This is downstairs in the basement. Mm-hmm. So it's supposed to go up in the basement. And my son has the original one as the original show poster. And it was, I think it was the first time that I was like, I'm gonna do a triple bat on this, because you can't pick out any of the colors, right? Because there's so many fucking colors in the thing. You're like, what do I pick out? What do I center? I'm like, all right, well, so it was probably one of the most expensive jobs, because I had to triple bat it just to catch some colors off of it, but it was really a pain. You're right.
And that's the one thing I love too. So especially with the Pearl Jam 20 prints, like there's a lot of colors in all the prints. You know, even the Justin Hampton one, even the Clausen and the Ames one. There's so much detail and colors in them. I believe the Ames brothers poster was a 12 color screen print. The Clausen one was, I think, a 6 color, and I believe the Hampton one was I think that one was like, I think if I remember, it was like 18. It's a lot. There's a lot of colors in it, and when you have a lot of colors like that, it's hard to find the mats to work with it, and that makes it difficult. You know, in the crazy shit we do, like, you know, when we're trying to display them and do crazy stuff on them, it makes it difficult.
No, and then you should have somebody come. No, because I always think that I did the posters some justice. So we could probably have another show about that, like you know, just showing off the
frame job.
The frame job. Yeah, the frame jobs are. It is kind of like once you get it right, you almost like get proud of yourself. You're like, oh damn, I did that right.
Yeah.
And then there's some of them. I have the Chicago Bill mural, and I showed it to somebody like, dude, that sucks. And I'm like, I know, dude, I know it sucks. I know, I totally like. I know I went there and said, and they're like, none of, you know, because you get some the colors, some of the mats and stuff like that. It doesn't match, and then you're like, all right, well, just go white or go black. You know, like one you can go white or black, and then so yeah, I think we can have another show about that. That'd be funny.
I think so. Maybe we'll do one of everything. Our frame up episode. We'll do that one. That'll be the next one.
Yeah, because I think I do a great job. But then again, you know what? And the crazy fucked up thing is nobody will buy your frame job. Like you like it. Nobody likes your frame job. But I paid $500 for it. Yeah. I don't fucking care, dude. Just take the poster out and send it to me.
I know. That's like, what do you do with that fucking mat and frame and all that stuff? I will say this too, Dayle. Maybe I need to come. You know, we've been talking about me coming to see a Patriots game. Maybe we'll have to work it out. We'll do an episode up there so we can film it nicely and direct, and we'll do like a whole directorial debut of all your. You can do a print showing your favorite framed prints.
Oh yeah, I totally have my certain favorites that I have. My ones that I like. I totally like. Mailed it in like they did it in Atlanta.
Yeah,
at the Midtown Music Midtown, yes. And then that's another show. When do they mail it in? Right?
Oh,
like,
that was that's another one. Like the merch for that was fucking stupid. Like that was the one where they had the chapstick. They had there was so much stupid shit for that, and I have it all. But it's just like. That's a good. I didn't realize you were at Midtown. Okay, well maybe that's another one we'll have to talk about because there was a lot of merch for that one.
Yeah, and back then I really didn't care. I didn't not when I was at Atlanta. The most important thing was I heard this whole thing about like Atlanta strip joints are the best things in the world, and I could tell you for a fact that they were the best in the world. Like I've been to like around the world, and nothing beats Atlanta strip clubs. It was just like, and so where my hotel was, I had to walk to Grant Park, or is that what's called, Grant Park, the park in the middle of that thing?
Yeah.
And then like we'd stop by the tailgating was consisted of stop at the strip joint. Right, and then as you walked closer, there'd be bars and restaurants that had outdoor serving, and then you just get there. Like and then I was in the VIP section for that too, but it was just like a show that like the experience was more fun than the actual show because I and a lot of people have agreed with me that that show was probably they mailed it in. They basically didn't want to be
they had a lot going. They had definitely a lot going on. Now let's bring it back to Pearl Jam 20. And let's talk
go ahead.
Let's talk about. So you said you didn't see a lot of the other bands. I'll make it real quick about the band situation. For me, I thought the bands that stood out the most was I thought Starry and the Laughing Dogs. The 2 days they performed did a fantastic job, and they were really cool. Mike McCready came out with them and played with them. That was really neat. Before Joseph Arthur went off the deep end over the last few years, he did a fantastic performance with Jeff Ament, Matt Cameron, and Mike playing. Liam Finn playing with Habit with Eddie on drums was fantastic. Queens of Stone Age 2 nights in a row was I love Queens of Stone Age. I thought they did an excellent job. And having Eddie Vedder play the cowbell on Little Sister was really cool. The Strokes, that was a really cool experience. Eddie came out for that one. Mudhoney, I can do and do without them. That it was cool to see, but didn't do anything for me. But the highlight of everything was I'll never forget the first day we get there. I come in with Natalie. I'm like, Natalie, where's our seat? She goes, well, I always sit pretty close to Mike. I'm like, all right, cool. That's, whatever. And we were literally second row, Mike's side, night one, right there. And I was like, I remember my buddy Paul and Mike were like, they were texting me like, hey, where are you? And I waved like, and I just remember the next text message I got was, fuck you. And I was cool with it. I was like, hey, you know what? I don't really get to enjoy this, all this stuff and cool like that. But yeah, we're gonna have to. It was a good time, and it was interesting. So the first night goes on, and Dennis Rodman comes there, and there's this picture I have to find it, but there's a picture like Dennis Rodman was literally like right next to me, like during the performance, and like then he started scooting his way forward. Like his goal was to get the attention of Eddie Vedder, and Eddie Vedder did an excellent job of ignoring him.
And let me ask you a question. So you thought you're tall. How much taller is Rodman than you?
Oh shit. I mean, there's only been a few people I've met. Like, so I met Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal's like I had to lift my I don't usually lift my chin up. Like that's a rarity for me to look up. Like it doesn't fucking happen. Dennis Rodman and Shaquille O'Neal were two people. Like I was like, what is this feeling of me lifting my head? Like I don't do this. Like it's like what is this? What is this going on? Dennis Rodman's a tall son of a bitch, and he God, like it was funny. He just kept. He was just there, and he had this energy, and it got weird at first too because so Dennis Rodman was there. George Harrison's son was sitting like directly behind me. Starring and the Laughing Dogs were sitting directly across from me. Like all these people were coming out, and nobody was bothering them. But for fucking some reason, Dennis Rodman, everybody wanted to get a picture with him, and it was just.
And
it
he
got
was
to the
more
point.
than
It got a little overwhelming for a while, but. After a while, he got like I think Jeff noticed it, and he left, and then next thing you know, he was on the side of the stage doing
right.
his thing.
They were like, get Dennis out of here, like he's too much. And it's just like, so my experience with so if you remember that experience buying the 10 Club tickets, so even if you won the 10 Club tickets or you got it, they didn't give you the tickets, so you had one night in under the thing. And then one night under the lawn, so you could not get both under the covers, right?
Yep.
So it rained, right? So my first night I was in the lawn section, and I'm like, well, crap, I'm not going to be. I hear it's going to rain. I don't want to be in the lawn, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm like checking out tickets. I'm like, okay, well, we're barely underneath the damn. Like pretty much the awning, right on the top row, basically. But I'm like, all right, well, and the weather was nice though; it wasn't that bad. You could wear shorts. It just was raining, kind of. So then, of course, the first night, and if you've been in Alpine Valley, the the lawn is pretty steep.
It's a damn a ski slope. It literally, the second night we were on the grass, and I remember it was with me and my buddy Paul. Like we were just sliding down I felt like we were sliding down, like getting closer and closer.
Yeah. So the first night, I had gotten lawn seats from the 10 Club for the first night, so I didn't care. We're going to be in the building. We're going to be one. But then I bought tickets on Ticketmaster, and then whatever. But the closest bathroom was at the lawn, so you had to go run up to the lawn, right, or something like that. I didn't know. This is like many beers in, and my whole thing was like, I'm not driving home. There's a shuttle that's going to take me back to my hotel, so I'm good. I can drink as much as I can, or enjoy it. So I come back from the bathroom and I fucking roll down the fucking hill. And it's just like, God. You try not to like, I understand like if it was a raining event and you were in the lawn and then, it happened, you fell in your ass, whatever. No, I came back from the bathroom, fell on my ass, slid all the way down, only to get to my seat and be like, told my brother, like, what the fuck happened, dude? I thought...
Oh God.
So yeah, and so that was my first night, and then the second night we were a lot closer to not as close as you, but we were a lot closer, and and it was really cool. A thing I wanted to. Okay, so there's a little different opinions on like the actual show itself. So when
Yeah.
I got okay, so the first night they end up with rearview mirror, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, rearview mirror, you get a rearview mirror. Next thing you know, they put Chris up there, right? Chris comes up, and now they're Temple of the Dog. And I swear to God, this is for me. This was my experience, and people can completely disagree with me or anything like that. But I felt like the band was, the crowd was like, "Why are you doing this? You just like you just played rearview mirror, and now you're gonna come up and have Chris come up and play 3 or 4 songs and slow
Well,
down the whole damn thing again."
yeah. So they played, let's see, September 3rd, 2011. They opened up with Release,
Yep.
then Arms Aloft, Do the Evolution, Got Some, In My Tree, Faithful, Who You Are, Push Me, Pull Me, Setting Forth, Not For You, In the Moonlight, which was a deep cut, Deep, Help Help, Breath, Education, Once, State of Love and Trust, Better Man, Wasted Reprise, and Life Wasted. So that's their first set, 20 songs, hardcore in it.
Right.
And I remember
Exactly.
like, I was like, holy shit, this is, I was like, I was hype. I was jumping up and down. And then you're right. They come out, they pit rearview mirror, fucking place goes nuts. And then the next thing you know, they're playing stored. Then Chris Cornell comes out, which listen, it was exciting. There was a couple guests throughout the night, like lead singer of was it called Queens of Stone Age came out, Josh, and
Yep.
then he played was it called In the Moonlight. So there was a couple cool things like, oh cool, Chris Cornell's here, Stored Door champion. But then it went to Say Hello to Heaven, which was a very familiar song. So if you weren't familiar with Temple of the Dog, Say Hello to Heaven, which was done really well. Reach Down, Hunger Strike, and then so they did 4 songs, and then they did Love Rain Over Me, Porch, and then Kick Out the Jams, which Porch to Kick Out the Jams was fucking awesome. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Yep.
End of the show. So
And I thought that I'm okay with seeing Chris Cornell once. I'm like, great.
that
He didn't have to
exactly.
show up for night 2. He did
No.
not have to show up for night 2.
No, and I think that's where people got a little frustrated. Because if you think about, I don't think people were expecting him to come out again, and then when he did, I think there was a kind of deep like, all right, and then there was a lot. All right, let's go through a set list real quick before we get to Chris Cornell for night 2. So they open up with Wash, which was amazing. The
Yep.
Fixer, Severed Hand, All Night, Given a Fly, Pilot, Love Boat Captain, Habit, Even Flow, Daughter, Leatherman, Red Mosquito, Satan's Bed, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town, Unthought Known, The New World, Black Jeremy. Then he comes out to the first encore, does that improv acoustic song that he wrote. He does Just Breathe, Nothing Man, No Way, Public Image, Smile, Spin the Black Circle. And we're like, all right, cool. Hey, we're 25 songs in. We did 28 the night before. Hey, let's see what
Oh,
happened.
I
And
think
then they do another encore, and that's when Chris Cornell comes out and he does Hunger Strike, Call Me a Dog, All Night Thing, Reach Down, and then he leaves. So he does another 4 songs. So he does 8 songs over 2 days. And then they ended with Sonic Reducer, come out for another encore, do a live, Rocking the Free World, Yell Ledbetter.
yep.
And, realistically, the both shows fantastic. I think you got a really great mixture of songs. I don't believe any songs were repeated minus the Temple of the Dog songs. And the sound quality I thought was really good. I know there was a lot of rumors about why Chris came the night 2 because they were trying to record it for something and they couldn't record it correctly. We had a sound engineer on one of the first episodes of Touring Fan Live, and he talked about how Pearl Jam 20 never was released as a boot, not only because they couldn't get all the rights from all the record labels, but because also the sound quality of the actual recording of it was just terribly done, and they didn't want to put it out. But and I understand Temple of the Dog is really that bridging of, going from Mother Love Bone to Pearl Jam and that gap of everything, but I don't think we needed that much of it.
Yeah, that's what I really felt, and I was like, "Oh, again?" And like, and this is the second night I had actual seats like it underneath the thing, and I was like, "Oh, and I could just feel the energy just get out of the crowd. Like you could feel it, like, not this again. I mean, I love it, but I'm like, it was great. I want to see stuff with Temple of the Dog, but not for 2 nights. I'm sorry, and I know it was a celebration about their thing and everything, but I'm like. Yeah, and people are gonna probably hate me for saying this or dislike me, but I, Eddie Vedder will always be biggest showman that, like, for me, that's why I love it, because it's Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
And then Chris does, he's this big tall dude, but it doesn't have the same stage presence. If that makes any sense. If I like doesn't like bring it. I don't know. Is that in some way, or am I on off the?
They're two
And
different.
then
They're two different. They're definitely two different kind of lead singers when it comes to things. I think Chris Cornell is in vocal sense. He's definitely got a voice of like I've always said. I think Chris Cornell has the voice that Jimmy Page always Robert Plant always wished he had. Like he's very much a Led Zeppelin '70s rock and roll singer. Can hit the high notes, bring it up. He's and that stuff. He doesn't have like the presence that Eddie Vedder does. They're two different artists that perform in two different ways, but they're wrapped around the same generic time in Seattle's music scene and how they were growing up together in this grunge scene. So and there's history there. So they're different. And listen, there's nothing wrong with liking one over the other or liking them both the same. We all have our preferences, but I also think that we're there to celebrate Pearl Jam. And, I think anytime you go to any show in general, when you see Pearl Jam and there's another artist that comes out, hey, it's cool for the first song, but after a while you're like, listen, yeah, we just heard this cover song, but like we're talking about eight songs over 2 nights. Like what else could we have gotten those 2 nights? Could we have gotten something even more deeper? Could we have gotten like, could we have gotten a song that they don't play often and we got a lot of deep cuts? Could we got something more off Lost Dogs? Like, and that's when things get frustrating to people because we at Fenway Park.
So
we had Bronson Arroyo come out twice, and I love Bronson Arroyo. Bronson Arroyo is fantastic, but
like he doesn't need to be here.
No, he doesn't need to be here.
It doesn't. I love the guy too. The guy, you know what? Great. He brought a championship to the city of Boston. Great, awesome, great guy. He's named after Charles Bronson. Whatever. But he doesn't need to be playing on black. I'm sorry. Doesn't need to be playing on black.
Correct.
Like Bronson Arroyo, and then did I tell you I saw him like at the so if anybody knows the Fenway area, so this is like kind of like you run into all these guys from these famous like off the airport. I run into this guy that's like basically just got off a cab and he's carrying, and Bronson Arroyo is like trying to be like Eddie Vedder, right? Like he's carrying like a luggage. A suitcase with like stickers and shit, and he's walking into the Commonwealth, the Hotel Commonwealth, that's like right near by the McDonald's. I'm like, oh, that's Bronson Arroyo. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I know he's a Pearl Jam fan, great, but I didn't expect him to. I didn't want him to be on the fucking stage. I'm sorry.
No, I think because listen, if you have 100 people in a room, right, and all 100 people are there to see one artist, whether it's Pearl Jam, Taylor Swift, or anything like that, when you start removing songs that to add things that they want to play, which and I get them, they're artists, are allowed to do that, but it's also as someone who's paying to be there to celebrate something, especially at Pearl Jam 20, we're there to celebrate Pearl Jam and Pearl Jam 20, and I understand we're celebrating the history of it too. One song would have done enough. Even if they did Say Hello to Heaven and then did Hunger Strike, like let's say they did one night they did Say Hello to Heaven, the next night they do Hunger Strike.
Did Hunger Strike? I'm gonna be like, oh my god, that was. I fucking witnessed Hunger Strike with fucking the original, and the original lineup and everything. I would have been like, and now like every time I see Hunger Strike, I'm like, oh well, yeah, it's okay, it's all right, and then but every time it comes on, you always screaming, I'm going hungry. Everybody does it. You cannot that fucking line. Every time you hear it, you're like, okay, well. Which guy do you sing? Which guy do you pretend to be?
Yeah.
I always wait for Eddie.
Yeah, I can't hit Chris's voice, but I will say this though. If I think less is more when it comes to things like that, and if we would have got the 2 songs, I think this episode, instead of saying we got too much, would have been like, man, I wish they would have played a few more because it would have gave us that anticipation of wanting more. I think they gave us too much, and I think that's why we're bitching. We're nitpicking at something that was special, and it is what it is because that's where we're assholes in that sense. But
yeah, no, we're definitely assholes. And then let's go back to the merch again. So the one merch that came from that Pearl Jam 20 is my absolute of my entire collection of Pearl Jam crap, which I call it, right? Because lately it's become crap. It basically doesn't get anything. Is the Pearl Jam 20 backpack.
Yep.
And I bought it originally from the damn fan club at $85. $85. It is my favorite piece of merchandise. Out of all their posters, out of all their stuff, this is and then they followed up with that piece of crap later, that green messenger bag and that fucking thing, that which I don't even
Yeah.
care to call. Yeah. So this is, so if anybody has one of these, this is my favorite Pearl Jam item in the history of Pearl Jam. This is usable. This is like, and I'm so glad that that the gentleman behind that microphone has one, because it's one of the coolest things. And then you walk around, you travel the world, and then like you kind of have to know like, oh, that's a Pearl Jam fan, like that dude's hardcore. That's what it says to. Well, that's what I think about it. If you see me
Uh,
or you see me, they're like, oh yeah, he's. If you have one of these, you're hardcore.
well, I will say this first of all. Hey, Dale, bring it up to you real quick again. Put the back to you.
Yeah,
So
sure.
just so you can see for size reference, there's me with the Pearl Jam 20 backpack, and then there's Dale with his Pearl Jam 20 backpack. The difference in us in size is ridiculous. But I tried to get it the day it dropped, and it sold out. And for years, I had opportunities to purchase it, and every time I purchased it, something happened, and after a while, I just fucking gave up. Like I tried. And on October 22nd, a package came, and then here's the quick story of it. I knew what it was, and I didn't want to open it at first, because I was like, there's people in this world that deserve things. I didn't feel like, I'm like, man, I don't know what I did to deserve this. It was weird to me, and it was like, well, the chase is over. There were so many emotions happening, and I'm gonna be honest, like I just started fucking crying. Like I was just like, I got emotional because it's like, this is something that like is really meaningful to me because it reminds me of the show that we're talking about and all the things that I did that day and all the friends I made, and that really turned the key to my journey for Pearl Jam and friends. That really ramped it up.
Awesome.
was Pearl Jam 20. So like, I opened it up and it was this big trash bag with a bunch of shit around. I'm like, all right. So I got the trash bag out and like I felt it, and I was like, all right. And I opened it up and I just cried even more. And it was just like, this is, I still feel like I have it. It's on a fucking hanger in the middle of my closet. So every time I go to my walk-in closet, it's there. I look right at it every fucking day. I look at my Pearl Jam 20 back. My wife has to look at it too. It's there. It's every morning. I'm looking at it every fucking morning. I walk in my walk-in closet. It's right there in the middle. I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you in a little bit, Dale. But
no,
it's
like,
I mean, it was, it is, and to people it's just a patch and some colors. To me, it's the memories. It's like a poster. Those posters just an image on a piece of paper, and to some people it's worth $10 and some worth it's $1,000. But the reason why that I constantly, and I think you and me can talk about this and do things. The reason why I always say one of everything when I go to a Pearl Jam show is not only for the fact that I don't want to miss out on something. It's because some of the greatest memories that I have, and I don't have a lot of local friends. All my friends are out, and like those memories that come back to me are through those items. That like when I go through my flat file and there's a pin from Pearl Jam in Denver in 2013, it reminds me of being in line and talking to Rebecca about things. It reminds me of going to the show. It reminds me of getting completely shit-faced and ordering an Uber Deluxe at 2:00 in the morning to, get back to the hotel. These memories come back from it, and this merchandise or this obsession to own things is because it brings me to memories that just make me happy. So even when you're having those shitty days, we have these spaces in our home where this merchandise it cocoons us into these positive thoughts and memories of times that happened and times that are coming, because we all know at some point Pearl Jam's going to play again. We're going to be able to do this again. I'm going to be able to see you again, Dale. We're going to be able to drink a beer together. We're going to be able to put our arms around each other. I'm going to put you on my shoulders. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. And that's why one of everything, while the idea of it is to own everything, it's because it's the memories that consistently bring us to happy times.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And then talking about the last thing I mentioned about merch was not merch, but like Pearl Jam 20 was so part of the VIP package. They gave you. Do you remember they were coming out with the documentary Pearl Jam 20, right?
Yeah.
PJ20. Okay, so as part of the VIP package, they gave you a poster of the movie movie poster. Is that
Yeah,
what you
wasn't it?
call it?
It was fucking huge, wasn't it?
I'm going to show you right now how huge it is.
Oh God, I can't fucking wait. This is
Okay, so that's this is the tube.
hold on.
This is the tube.
Hold on. Wait.
Swear to God, this is the fucking tube.
It's as fucking tall as you.
Yes, this is the tube that fucking Pearl Jam gave me to come back from Wisconsin. This,
God.
like, I swear to God, I can hang on this thing.
Oh,
This
dude,
is the original
fucking,
tube that I carried,
God.
back after the show. So we went back to the Milwaukee thing, and then you're like, hey, I'm pretty cool about carrying some poster tube, but this is like a motherfucking. Look at this.
Dude, you look like fucking Gandalf in Lord of the Rings with his fucking like his big like stalk thing going through the goddamn mountains.
Yeah, yes. This is the if you were there, this is the poster that Pearl Jam gave you to bring home.
It's
And
fucking
then like I didn't know if you had to check this fucking thing in.
Dude, I don't know what's worse, that or the fucking rug they tried selling at Ohana. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was a. So we go to the airport. I'm like, am I supposed to check this thing in? I'm sorry. This thing is just way too big for, and I don't think you could actually fit it anywhere. And then on the way ride home. So we're flying back to Boston, and we're flying. I think at that time Frontier maybe or Midwest. And then we're coming back. We're like having a great time, and all of a sudden, I don't even know what turbulence. You get some turbulence, right?
Yeah.
All the next thing I know is the plane drops like probably like I don't know,
That's the worst.
10,000 feet, and then I'm like, and I look over to my brother. I'm like, holy fucking shit! I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I brought my brother to Wisconsin to see Pearl Jam, and we're both gonna die here. And and we just have one of those moments, right, where you were like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
And then it's not till you get on the ground, and then you get you get your shit, and then you walk out, and you look at each other like, "I thought we were gonna die, dude." He's like, "Yeah, I thought the same too."
Yeah, it's crazy how, dude, you pucker your ass a little bit. It's the truth.
Yeah, you try to be like, okay, hey, that was nothing, right? That's nothing. And then you like once you get on the ground, like, hey, sorry, dude, I didn't think we were gonna die, but I thought about it, and then you because you're on the ground now.
Exactly. It all changes when now you're on the ground. And that was not that bad. What are you talking about? You're like, yeah, fuck that, never again.
Yeah, so that was one of the most the craziest flight that I've had was that one coming back from Alpine Valley carrying that fucking big tube.
Oh, it is. That was, yeah. No, the funny thing is, like, I think there is someone. I was trying to look for it right now. There is someone I know that actually framed that up. Like I do.
Was it framed up in a church? It's gotta be in a church.
I think it's a 6 foot. I believe it was a 6 foot frame. I was trying to fucking find it. I believe it's above, like it's on. He's got a split for a house, and it's like on the wall in between his stairs. I can't find it.
Okay, no, because then afterwards they released a smaller, like regular size
Correct,
one
yeah.
that you can get from the movie theaters, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I came home and I'm like, is this thing? And I had it always in like the tube. And one day I just like, how big is this fucking thing?
Jesus.
And I swear to God, the thing is bigger than me. Like and you think the tube is bigger than me? When I lay out the poster and I lay side by side to it, it's still way bigger than me.
That's fucking insanity.
Yeah,
well, listen,
so that was and then you got the vault too. I'm sorry, you got the vault.
The vault.
That's
one,
how the vault started.
The vault started at this 100%, and it was, the addiction continues to grow with the vault for sure.
Yep.
It's insanity. But this was an amazing weekend. I loved it. I really did love it a lot, and I hope they do something. I like when, like, I like where you get to go somewhere and enjoy the area and do that. Like, so I love. I mean, Fenway. I'm a little biased because I love Boston, but yeah, man, it's time for we need
Yeah,
a couple more shows.
we need an announcement soon. I'm, you know, and at this kind of stage, and you know, you know, I just can't go. You know, we met up at a couple shows uh, in on the last tour, but it's always like that. You know, now the shows have become like kind of, and like you know, it's always to give you the prize, but one of the greatest things is just meeting up and just hanging out, and that's what I've come to realize, that the shows are fun,
Yeah.
but since 2016, when I just used to do like random shit, like just walk into a bar and like I would have a spare ticket or something like that. I would just give it away to the bartender, and like, you like Pearl Jam? And like, they're playing tonight. I'm like, yeah, they're playing, and then we do that, and it just for me, it's fun. I love the meetups and stuff like that. Now, is it crazy that like sometimes it's hard to meet up too? Kind of like it's everybody has their own thing. I always thought, oh, it's easy. It's great. I'll meet you there. And then you're like, well, take it into consideration. I got to get merch. Got
Yeah.
to get all that shit
Yeah.
done.
Well,
The pre-party, I might not make it. I'm sorry.
I will end this show with some behind the scenes thing, Dale. When we
Yep.
do anything for Touring Fan Live, I make sure that the venue is close enough to where the arena is. So wherever we're doing our Touring Fan Live event is close to the arena.
Yep.
I also make sure that we have time to set up at a certain time, that I can leave, go get the merch, come back and set up. There is literally a formula in place to make sure that we can do the event 100% correct. I can get my merch with happiness and come back, because I will tell you, St. Louis was a little hectic and it almost didn't work out, but I got my merch, thank God, from one of our friends. It all worked out, but that's that. But listen,
Was that
Dale,
St. Louis?
That's
St. Louis was the clusterfuck, right?
yeah, St. Louis is a cluster. It was crazy. Yeah, St. Louis is
Okay.
crazy, but it all worked out. But well, listen, Dale,
Gotcha.
listen. As always, it's always a good time when you're around. Let's give a round of applause for Dale, shall we? There we go. Look at that Dale, that good old man from the Northeast. All right. And but
Yeah.
listen, Dale, this was fun. I love chatting with you, especially when it comes to merch and just around memories and all that stuff. It's always good. We'll have to get something set up soon for the next one. I like the idea of a framed up show. I think that's a good idea. And we'll get it
Okay.
going.
Oh, well, next time you're here or something, if you come to see the past or something, then
Yeah,
and we'll do
definitely.
something. I mean, it'd be great. But once again, I want to thank you for inviting me to come on these shows. I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm on YouTube. She's like, yeah, you're on YouTube. What are you doing on YouTube? I'm like, nothing. I just get asked questions, or we talk about full of shit. And then she's like, you can't really do that. I'm like, yeah, with like, you know, a couple beers in, I can talk about anything but Pearl Jam.
Well, listen, dude.
All right.
For now on, if I'm ever doing a one of everything show, and I make sure that you're on my side, because I think you and me understand merchandise the best when it comes to us talking together. So,
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I want to thank everybody in the Pearl Jam community, because they are the reason why I love this, because it is about the Pearl Jam community. You know, and the band is the band, but the great thing is, like, you know, meeting the people, and especially meeting guys like Anthony, and it's awesome. So have a good night, great night. Thank you so much. I don't know.
that's no. Hey, I think you did good. We'll start queuing up the music. There we go. You know, Dale, I don't think it's a good show unless we see you dance the way out. I think that's the way to do it. Shall we end it with you giving us a dance off?
Okay, no. Well,
Here we go.
well then I'm gonna. I don't know. Oh, you got me. Sorry. Bye.
Have a good night.